Do you love the idea of being able to go to the thrift store and rummage through a little bit of junk to find that hidden treasure that you're able to just make a few little changes to and refashion it completely into something just beautiful? Well, me too. So if you want to see how I took this little piece of mother of the bride maybe into this beautiful 1940s two-piece playsuit, stay tuned. Welcome, lovely ladies and gents, to my show Thrift to Vintage, where I take used, unloved, somewhat ugly vintage items and refashion them into beautiful vintage styled outfits. This particular trip to the thrift store, I found this mother of the bride maybe two-piece number. So it's a beautiful silk and I really loved the print and I was able to see really what it could be. So I took it home and started refashioning. But enough talking. Let me get through and I'll show you what I did. So to start with, I needed to adjust this top. So I wanted to actually bring it in a little bit at the back and make it smaller and actually reshape the line so that I could tie it up just like this and do some darts in the back. Now of course this skirt needed taking in drastically, so that would come in through the 8 gauze that were in this particular skirt and a little off the length. First of all, I needed to resize the skirt and the top. So the skirt was pinned in through the 8 gauze that the skirt is made from, and I marked the amount I wanted to take off the bottom of the top. And now laying the top down, I've used my pin to gauge where I needed to actually cut that at the center back and aim that cut line, angle it at the right amount. I've just marked it in with chalk and now I get to cut it off, making sure that line is nice and curved. Now to check that each side is even, flip them over on top of each other to make sure that the curves are straight. And now I've popped it on my mannequin and I'm just pinning in the side seams as I'm going to take it in. Now I've just sewn these side seams straight down and cut off any excess. Now I'm checking back on my mannequin to see how much I actually need to create these darts. And now all I've done is measuring in each from the center and creating 2 darts on each of the back, 1 on each side. And to check that they are even, of course lay them on top of each other and make sure that they are the same amount on each side. And now I just need to readjust the line of my hemline now after taking in the side seams. So I'm pinning the 2 layers together to actually check that the flow through is nice and even on this and trimming off any excess. And now to hem the bottom edge of the bodice, I've simply sewn it over once and sewn it over again. This is called a double turnover hem. This is great for small hems and curves. And now for the skirt. After pinning those in, I'm going to roughly measure how much over each of the 8 gauze and make sure that they're an even amount spread over each panel. Unpicked the entire waistband, pulling the lining free. And of course the lining can just be adjusted. This one was A-line, so just take it straight in. Now sewing down each of those gauze, as I said, evenly all throughout each panel of the skirt. It's very, very important so that it's nice and even. After I've finished sewing, I have tried this back on to make sure the fit is correct before I then go on to create a waistband. And to make the waistband, I simply folded it over once at 3 centimeters and folded it over again to create a little sort of casing through the top edge and simply stitched along, top stitching along the top. I replaced the zipper, and now it's just to hand stitch in the hook and eye to give that closure a nice, neat finish. And one last little addition I did using the leftover fabric from the top was to create a little puffy pouch. I made a sort of rectangular little bag that I gathered in at the top with a drawstring. So I simply created a rectangle and sewed it together, sewed all around the edges, and created a little casing that I could thread through, a little drawstring that I got from the top actually, thread it through the top to create the gathers. And all in all, then makes a little pouch. Now I'm just playing around with the placement of this pouch on the skirt to get it just in the right spot. And the only true way to tell, of course, is to try it on. Now I did also do a double turnover hem on my actual hem of the skirt, which I didn't show you, and on the sleeves of the top as well, so they were shortened. Now I just needed to change the buttons, and it was a choice between these little red ones and some white ones, and it was the white ones that won. Once I changed these, that meant it is now complete, and we're ready to see the final result. Remember what it looked like before? And that is the finished result. Beautiful, right? I am so happy with how it turned out. I just love it. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial, I've got a few things for you. Give me a thumbs up to begin with so I know that you liked it. And if you're interested in seeing more refashioning tutorials and learning how to sew, make sure you subscribe to my channel, the link is below, or even head to my website where you can find more tutorials, because I'll be doing a lot more learning videos as well in the future. So if you subscribe to my mailing list on my website, you'll be one of the first people to know what I have coming up planned. Now, if you also know someone else who will enjoy this video, I would just be so thrilled if you would share it around to all your friends. Again, I hope you enjoyed it and gave you some inspiration of what you might be able to do yourself. Until next time. Oh, that hurts.